Hi guys, I'm Krista and this is my big sister Stacey and this is Sister's Social Call.
We are two sisters talking about everything that sisters talk about. Welcome to our lives. Well, hey sis.
Hey sis, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you tonight?
Pretty good.
Awesome. We want to welcome all of our listeners back to Sister Social Call and say a special hello to our new listeners. I'm Stacey, one half of the Mighty Sister Duo, and this is my sister, Krista.
Hey guys.
Today, we want to share with you the ideal exercise. Sis, why don't you tell everybody what the ideal exercise is?
Well, it's the ideal day exercise, sis. But anyways, the ideal day exercise invites people to imagine your perfect ordinary day. So not a holiday, not a compromise type day, but a daily day that you'd love to live.
I saw one of my favorite influencers, Sarah from Go Clean Co, do this on Instagram, and I thought, what a great exercise. And so I did a bit more research on the internet and found Rachel Ireland's website, which I'll be sure to include in our show notes, that outlined Barbara Sher's ideal day exercise from her book, Wishcraft: How to Get What You Really Want. I think this is so fascinating, this exercise, because it contemplates your perfect ordinary day. Because I actually think most of us are a lot closer to that perfect ordinary day than we think we are. We're always trying or striving for something outside of us. How beautiful is that we are living closer to our ideal day than we actually think we are?
That's pretty beautiful, really. I think it's important to envision this every once in a while because I do think that we can get really sidetracked from what we truly want and what we think we want. You know, like what we think our ideal day needs to look like. So this is something that you can do that really kind of puts everything back into perspective, realigns you with what you already have.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's right there at your fingertips. So I think this is a good little exercise to do. This is the first time I've ever done it, but I honestly think if you feel like you're a little disconnected, out of sorts, you feel like your life isn't matching up, then perhaps this is a great exercise to do at that time, because then you'll realize, hey, you know what? I'm actually doing it already.
Uh-huh.
Or close to it, you know?
And if you're not doing it, I think this is a great exercise to make it your daily ordinary life, to make it perfect or to make it really good. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think when you write things down, you get it out of your head and onto the paper, it's more likely to become a reality.
Uh-huh.
And this doesn't necessarily mean if you're doing this, you need to write it all down, but just doing that kind of little check-in. Yeah. So let's start the exercise. So using as much detail as possible, you describe your ideal day, sis, from morning to night in the present tense. Here are some prompts. Like, what are you doing? Work, play activities that fulfill you. Where are you? Like your location, you know, in the country, in the city, on a trip, whatever. And who are you with? The people that you're with. So those are some prompts, but you're encouraged in this exercise to dream without limits, imagining you have all the skills, resources, and freedom you need. The goal is to create a vivid picture of a life that excites and energizes you. So sis, we talked about this exercise in preparation of the recording. What is your perfect ordinary day? Tell us about it.
Yeah. This isn't something that you can rush contemplating, I think. So that's why Christy and I talked about this last week. So I started to jot my thoughts down. The first thing, when I think about it in the present tense, I'm waking up with my husband beside me and my cats in my bed or near me. And just so I can have a quick snuggle in the morning, a few kitty headbutts, a few kitty pets. Like that's how I want to wake up, is seeing my husband beside me and then seeing my kitties near me. And then I'm kind of becoming a early morning worker-outer. So whether I will roll out of bed and either get ready to go to the gym or roll out of bed and do yoga, some stretching first thing in the morning. That practice has been going on for a couple of years now. And I will forever have that in my life, because that is the right way to start my day off, is some movement, gentle, or sometimes it's not so gentle, but some type of movement in the morning before my day gets started. If I'm at home, I will try and pull a tarot card and do a quick little reading for myself, ask the universe for guidance, do a meditation, get ready. Another perfect part of my day, if I'm really nailing my day, is to floss my teeth. And I know that's super ordinary, but I've not been a flosser in my lifetime. So I really do, like, my ordinary ideal day would be that I remember to floss my teeth. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty ordinary for sure.
Yeah. But it's a very good habit to be in. And then part of that ideal day is to work fully remote from home. And I have that. That is something that I also manifested, was a 4-day work week, working fully remote from home. The universe heard me.
100%.
For work, I've always wanted a job that is mentally stimulating and that is continuous learning. And I definitely have that in my job. Right now in my life, I feel like I have the right balance in my workplace. So I feel like I'm pretty much nailing work in my ideal day. So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Some other things that I want in my perfect day is that Sean and I do something together. I like to have quality time with my husband. That is my love language, is quality time. So sometimes all it is just dinner and talking. In my ideal day, I would do something creative. So puzzle or craft or work on the podcast or do photo books or social media posts, something creative. My ideal location, well, I've often thought about where do I want to get old? And it's never been about a location for me so much as who I want to get old around. So as long as I'm around those people, I feel like I'm in my ideal location. Like, who do I want to grow old with doing the things I love to do? So I love the mountains for their recreation. I love to be able to hike, be out in nature. I love skiing. So as long as I have access to the things I like to do, I feel like I'm in my ideal location. I can't say in my life at this point that I've been so in love with a place that I have to live there. When we talk about my ideal day and like my ideal location, like I am living exactly where I want to live, in a townhouse in my small community, because Sean and I have decided that we don't want to do yard work so that we are able to play in our beautiful community. I love being in the kitchen. It's a place that I can be very creative. So I love to cook a good meal. I want to eat that meal with my husband. I love sharing it with friends. So sometimes that would be part of my ideal day. And to end off my day is my B3 bedtime routine. And people will probably find this funny, but it's a bubble bath, a beer, and a book.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I don't have too many beers in my bubble bath anymore, but I definitely get my book and a bath many, many days. It's harder in the summertime because it's not quite all that comforting sitting in a hot bathtub with the hot weather, but that bedtime routine is pretty frequent. So if I had unlimited resources, like financial resources, I would probably do a little bit more self-care. I would do a manicure more often. I would probably do a pedicure. I would have facials. And the manicure and pedicure, if you met me, you would know that I don't have the best fingernails and toenails because I have psoriasis in them. So I would love that for myself so that they would heal. So if I had all the money in the world, that would be probably where I would put a little bit more into my ideal day. Anyways. And the last thing is I love to squeeze a good phone call in with my mom, my sister, or a friend every night. So yeah, those are my simple ideal days, sis. What about you?
That's pretty good. I think you live that. You live that straight up. You do it every day, which is cool. I got thinking about this perfect day thing, and it's a bit more complex for me. And I thought about this, I kind of read your notes on what your perfect day is, and it's just a bit different for me. I live two lives almost. And so when I'm at my house at the beach, my life looks a lot different than what it looks like at the farm. If I was at the farm, I guess I'll describe kind of both of them, so if I'm at the farm, I love to wake up slow. There's always a cat or two with me. I never wake up with Mark. He's up way earlier than me, and I like a good solid sleep in. So I like that he's there, and I like knowing that he's there, and he's never bugging me for getting out. Like, he knows I like my sleeping, so let me be. And I like that. I love a slow morning, and I love going for a walk, doing, like Stacey said, some physical activity. I work out, I go for a walk, do some yoga, whatever. Love that. But my most favorite part of the morning is when I'm done my workout, and then I get to enjoy my first cup of coffee with just cream in it. And that ritual of having that coffee is by far one of my most favorite parts of my day. It really, truly is. I look forward to it every single day. Wake up, do my thing, and then I have a French press and I drink decaf coffee. At home here, I have a milk frother, so I froth up my cream. At the farm, I don't have one, but I love, love, love that. Like a slow morning just is just my dream. And I do have that pretty much when I'm at home as well, because I don't start my workday until 10 a.m. So I've created that myself, but that comes with being self-employed. And at the farm, I love doing chores, and I would be, doing chores with Mark, but doing our own thing. Like I definitely am not connected at the hip with Mark. I have our things that we both like to do, and then we like to share time together as well. So I mean, I love puttering around the farm. If I'm home, I have a great job. I created that for myself. I'm a hairstylist. I own my hair salon. I have never had a bad day of work. The exercise truly made me realize is that I long for nothing more. I do not. I'm totally content and happy with exactly how my days roll out. Like there's always things that we could want more of, but I'm not that person. Like I don't pine over what more I could have. I just am happy with what I have right now. Like I'm happy with how my life is. And so, at the farm, one thing that I do love and I wish we could do more of, we have a lake. We're on a lake called Horse Lake. And one of my ultimate favorite things that Mark and I do is we go down to the lake and we just watch the beavers. And I usually go for a nudie swim and we watch the sunset and we barbecue and just hang out and watch the stars. Sometimes we'll light off fireworks just depending on what's happening. But and we just sit there and we could be in dead silence and we just visit and we have no distractions, just the two of us. And we do that a few times over the summer whenever our stars align and that could happen. I wish we could do that more often. But if it doesn't happen down at the lake, then you can find Mark and I sitting on our deck at the farm, just shooting the shit after a long day. And I love cooking for him. I love doing that. I don't know. Like my ideal day at the farm is your typical farm wife. I love cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, keeping the house slightly organized. And then at home, I just enjoy going to work and seeing all the people in my community and visiting with people. I can't say that there's really much more that I could want from that. And then, yeah, like Stacey, at the end of her day, she loves the, bath and whatever else and reading a book. Well, my ideal day every day, I'd be like, dial down the day, have some supper, eat like a delicious piece of cheesecake or something, have some sex, read my book, call her a day. That's at the ranch, and when I'm at home, my gosh, well, I do all the things at home at the lake when I get home from work. So, and I love working. I love making my own money. I love being creative behind the chair. So I, I often think about this, like, what would I do if I didn't do hair? I have no idea. I can't even wrap my head around that. I would be happy to do anything. I've loved every job I've ever had. But I think about this because one day I'm going to move to the ranch and be there more full time. And I think, oh, what will I do? And that is a bit daunting to me.
Well, we just
But
talked
yeah, when
about
I'm
what
here
we'll
and I
do.
come home from work, I love being outside. I take Tex for a little tootle outside. I love baking, crafting, cooking, painting. Last night I flavored up my batch of kombucha. I just love doing, like I always tell people, people will say to me all the time, you are so busy. How do you find the time to do all this stuff? And I just always say, there's so much that I want to do that I feel like I'm not going to have I have to maximize all my time because I don't want to run out of time. I want to get it all done. Like tonight, after this podcast, I got to make Marcus tarts. I've been trying to do this all week, but I haven't been able to have the time because I've got other things going on. Got to make Marcus tarts, and I really want to make lip balm because the gal I worked with was at her kids' ball tournament on the weekend, and she sunburnt her lips, and I need to make her some natural SPF lip balm. So I just love tinkering with stuff like that. Like that makes me so happy when I have time to do that stuff, and I do all that stuff. I just always feel like I don't have enough time because there's so many things that I want to do, Gosh, I could stay up till 4 a.m. probably doing all the things that I want to do. Because I also really love to have a bath at the end of the day when it's not like same as you, same as sis. I love to have a bath, read my book, have a tea. I like to wind down my day like that. I have to admit too, I also like to scroll on my phone. But I usually check that first thing in the morning and I'll check it at night. I typically don't spend a lot of time scrolling during the day because I'm busy trying to jam pack all the things in there.
Mm-hmm.
I have such a good balance between lake life and the farm life. I know that I'd like to be at the farm a bit more than I am, but then I also know that can't I love my home here. Like, I also know that I have to still be here. I know that there's like a big, huge part of me that I know I'm ready to be at the farm more, but I'm not ready to shut her down here at the lake yet. So I think that'll be my life for the foreseeable future. It's just so good. I have the best of all the worlds. I just have to figure out how to feel okay with that in my brain.
Yeah. To have two very distinct lives, but both are very fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely. We all wish we had all this disposable income that we could do whatever, anything with. I think that is something we all would wish, because then we could do all the things that we truly, truly want to do, even if it's just hobbies. Like, hobbies are expensive. There's like a set of watercolor paints that I would absolutely love to have, and they're expensive. I just can't go buy them, kind of thing. And so, of course, that would be great. But there is also something to be said for saving up and being able to purchase those things. My days are pretty basic, and the days that I love are basic days, I think. And of course, the people that I'm with, my family means everything to me. That's one thing I'll say. We do spend a lot of time together, and we do FaceTime, and we talk to all of our family. Like, we're very connected. But I do wish that we spend more time together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the gaps, I think, that I would like. I'd like if we could fill it better. But of course, you live in BC, and my brother and his family, they have a family. They're very busy. I do see my mom and dad fairly regularly, but if I could throw my whole entire family in there for a dinner or something like that, that'd be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I've kind of answered all of that.
What do you think are some of your must-haves, though, in the day that are absolutely essential to you having a really good day?
Well, the one thing that Mark and I do every day when we're not together, we always text each other good morning. So I don't ever want to not have that. And then my morning cup of coffee. Listen, if I don't have cream at the farm, I'm so pissed off at myself, because it's just not the same. That coffee is just my favorite. And then, of course, it's just the start of the day. I need to do something physical. And that's not just for my body, that's for my brain as well. Like, I can't live without that. Those are must haves. When I think about what just brings me joy is sitting and having a nice slow cup of coffee in the morning and just starting your day off reflecting and setting your intention for the day. And I can't live without those things. So that's pretty simple. What are your must haves?
My must haves are also something physical in the morning. I'm okay just rolling out of bed and doing 20 minutes of stretching. If that is what the workout looks like for my morning, then I will squeeze a walk in there later on in the day, like on my lunch break, or I'll try and get out for an hour after work.
Just such a great start.
Yeah.
Foundation for your day.
Yeah. I love waking up beside Sean and the cats, but I travel quite a bit. So that is tricky, because those are really good days too when I'm traveling and he's not beside me. But I do feel like those are the best when he's right there. What else is not negotiable? I touched on it earlier, but continuous learning. And so having a job that's mentally stimulating is really important to me. Be in Mother Nature at some point in the day, and in the form of a walk. I don't
That
need
is
to.
a big one too for me, actually. Being outside, that would be a non-negotiable as well. Because even if it's just walking through my garden, but yeah, there's even in the wintertime, I just bundle up and go outside, even if it's just for like a 1.5 kilometer walk or something like that. I just have to. It's just the fresh air is, but that's been a big part of our life our whole lives. So it is no surprise that we both see a great value in that for sure.
You've touched on this a little bit, but is there anything missing?
Just like, well, when I said just like more time with the family, but then when I said that and I checked myself, I was just like, girl, you were lucky to spend the time you do with your family. Anything missing? Of course, this changes throughout life as you change as a person as well. But right now in my life, I'm just super grateful for where I'm at and what I have and the days that I get to have and the fact that I share it with the people that I share with. What about you, sis? What do you think?
The only thing I thought that it would be really nice to have a little bit more of is creative time. Like, I wish I had a bit more time to do more puzzles, more photo books, more cooking, that kind of stuff. I just feel like if I had more creative time.
I've probably mentioned this once before to you, but when you do you get a thing on your phone that says how many hours you spend on average a day on your phone? Do you get a thing that says that to you?
I don't even want to admit it.
I probably told this story on a podcast, but Jim is a professor at the university and he's lovely. Jim said to me, in his university classes, when he first starts a class, he gets people to tell them how much their weekly average or their daily time spent on their cell phone is. Of course, everybody's like 9 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, whatever. And then he said, okay, well, don't ever tell me you didn't have time to do an assignment.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah. So same, like when we say we wish we had more time, that just hearing Jim say that this was probably in the wintertime. He told me this story. Wow, was that sobering?
Yeah, because you have all the things you want to do all day, every day. Like, you have way more things you want to do in a day than I ever do.
100%. But the reality is, we spend a lot of time on our phones. So when we think, oh, I wish I had more time for that, that's a little check you can check in and be like, oh, yeah, last week I averaged 6 hours a day on my cell phone. We can find 1 hour in there to be creative, right?
True that we do use our phones for everything. From the moment I roll over in bed and do yoga, I'm using my phone. I'm conscious aware of it, but not very good at curbing my usage. I don't know. I've tried. I could do better. That's for sure.
I also think like it's a part of our life. I think people can get so hard on themselves about it, but it is our reality now. It is part of our life. We don't carry around newspapers. We don't carry around magazines. So when people would be sitting somewhere reading a magazine, well, we're just on Pinterest, reading our digital magazine or finding recipes. Like, it's just, I think people get really hard on themselves about it, but it's a convenient thing in our life and it allows us to do so many amazing things. One of them being this freaking podcast. So
yeah. Your point is very well taken about if I want more creative time, then I need to probably look at how I'm wasting time in my day. And it would definitely be scrolling. Put the phone down, Stacey. Like, have a little bit more discipline, I think, with how I'm using every minute. You utilize all your time in your day. I know you scroll, but like everybody does, but I feel like you do 100 more things in a day than I do. So probably that would be it. I know we're cut from the same cloth, but I'm cut from a different cloth. There's like a whole different amount of energy inside of me than most people. I don't even know if it's energy. It's just like that. Like, I would say I'm not the norm, you know? So it's like, don't compare yourself to me, because I think I'm like an exception in that sense that it's just like, if I want to do something, I'm going to get her done, whatever. Like, it's just almost to a fault. I've talked about that before, right? Like, where it's just like, it's almost a bit to a fault. So, well, I think we're doing overall pretty damn good in our lives, that we're getting almost to our ideal days every day, which is pretty awesome. And I only wish that for every one of our listeners, that they also have the ability to reflect about what would their ideal ordinary day would look like, and be able to execute that in their day-to-day lives, for sure. Absolutely. I think it's a good little practice to do, and just a little inventory check on where you're at and how far you are from that. And I would be so curious. I'm going to have this conversation in the salon over the next little bit, because yeah, sometimes I just ask my clients random questions, really put them on the spot to get into the deep conversations. I think this will be so good. Yeah, especially next week when the episode airs, be like, we talked about this. What does your ideal days look like? Exactly. Like, our podcast really propels a lot of good conversation from people that listen to the podcast, but also because I'll be like, oh, on our podcast this week. And then we end up having these really great live chats. Yeah. Well, this will be a good one. I can't wait to hear what it'll be interesting for sure. I hope that I get some good, I hope I hear, not good. I hope that I get some people having a conversation with me. I think it'll be great. Well, why don't we move along to our peaks, pits, and plans for the week? Do you want to go first? Sure. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to start with the pit. It has something to do with my car again. No! I didn't even know about this.
Well, I just got the news today. So I had my car in for an oil change, and then every once in a while the check engine light pops on. But it was off when I took it in. But I said, like, could you check it? Because it comes off and comes down. It seems like it does it when I get fuel or whatever. Well, my catalytic converter is clogged, or getting clogged. So I need to replace my catalytic converter. But there's a reason why the catalytic converter is getting clogged. And so there's probably something more going on than this. But first things first, I'm going to replace the catalytic converter and see how that goes. And we'll go from there. But yeah, so that's my pet. Like, I'm so close to paying my freaking car off that I just want to be able to drive it for a little while without a car payment. And then I'll get a new car and I'll be done with all the car complaints. But like, it's probably gonna make me freaking get rid of it sooner than later, get a new car sooner than later. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get her paid off and ride her out for at least 6 months. So we'll see how I do. But anyway, so that's a boo to that. But at the end of the day, it's like whatever. It's not even something they said needs to be done like right now, but they said eventually, like if you don't deal with it, it can be hard on your engine. So a client of mine, he's got a shop. And then actually the guy at the dealership did say to me, because we have to replace this whole entire piece, it will be like $4,000. He said, go get an aftermarket one. He said, go to a muffler shop or whatever. They could do it for a fraction of the price. So like, bless his heart for being raw and real with me and just saying that. I was also thinking, well, he's probably telling me that because he knows that my car's on its last legs. Like, it's a high-end day. I don't think these cars really, persevere past 250,000 and I'm at 225. So anyway, whatever. I'm gonna go for it. So Buddy's I messaged him, he's gonna look into it for me tomorrow and get a price and all that stuff. So hooray for that. My peaks, I golfed with Dad and I did say I was gonna whoop him. I don't think I whooped him, but I got a birdie on hole number 5. It was at Katepa. It was a par 3. And I drove on and one putt. I don't think I've ever had a birdie before. I was so proud of myself and I was so pumped. The 2 guys golfing behind us were pumped. They were cheering for me as well. And on that hole, my dad drove 2 shitty drives. One hit a tree to the left, one hit a tree to the right, and he just said, screw it. And so he just putt from my ball, but he did, I will say he had a great putt.
You got a birdie.
I still got a birdie and Dad did not. So that was awesome. I was out in the garden working the other day. I could hear this like, burp, 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 burp. Anyways, and I thought it was just our cat Ron. And I go turn around to say, hey, Ron. And well, lo and behold, it is not Ron. It is 4 baby raccoons. Now, that's not awesome to be in my garden or at the farm, but I've never seen 4 baby raccoons up close and they are damn cute. So that was kind of a peak. Hopefully they piss off and don't come and ruin my corn crop.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, I don't have a lot of plans for this week at all. I'm just going to be going to the farm. There's not much going on. I guess I got to make tarts for Mark tonight. I want to make the lip balm. And then I also, I got to make some garlic scape pesto because I picked all the scapes off the garlic. So we always make garlic scape pesto. So I got to do that and freeze it. And then the other thing that's going on in my life, I meant to mention this last time, but I totally forgot. But not this past Monday, but the Monday before, I started on Weight Watchers, you guys. So this is a plan for my future, for the foreseeable future. It'll be in my plans. But I was feeling puffy and icky, and I'm not somebody that's like super concerned about like my weight, but my pants are all getting tight, and I don't want to buy new pants. So I need to check myself a little bit. And I've been steady on the sweet treats lately. So I was like, I need to be accountable to this, and I'm 42. I'm starting menopause. They say this is like, you want to get this in check because it gets harder as you get older. So I decided I'm going to go on Weight Watchers because you can eat anything you want, but you have to track it. So on my very first week of Weight Watchers, I lost 3.4 pounds. So I'm pumped about that. Not that it's all about like losing a ton of weight, but I just really want to get a better handle on what I'm eating because you guys, I love food. Love it. And I just eat whatever, whenever, however. And I don't think that's going to be good for me in the long run. So I'm trying to get a handle on it right now. So there's that. That's it. That's what's happening in my life.
That's the first time that you've done Weight Watchers, right?
I think so. I think maybe I might have like tried like a trial of it with you way back in the day, but I did not commit to it. And I'm very committed to it right now. I have not missed tracking one stitch of food that I put into my mouth.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been really diligent, but I'm committed. I want to feel better. So
yeah. And I know for us, it's numbers on scale isn't really what motivates us. It's just how we feel.
yeah, and I feel puffy and my pants are tight and I don't like that. And I don't want to go buy new pants because I'd rather save my money for something better.
Yeah.
So to heck with that. And yeah, you know what? It's just now that I've been tracking my food for the last 2 weeks pretty much straight, well, I was just like the sweet treats. Mark and we always buy these little cheesecakes at Superstore. We love cheesecake. Amazing. 1/5 of this cake is 22 points. I can only have 23 points in a day.
You only get one cheesecake, maybe a week.
Yeah. Exactly. So that really was like an eye opener to me. Like, holy shit, Krista, you would just be plowing back a Starbucks coffee, a freaking piece of cheesecake at the farm, maybe both nights that I'm there, like way overindulging. And you know what? I would justify it in my head a little bit like well, you don't drink wine anymore. So I could sit down and drink like 3-4 glasses of wine, no problem. So I'd kind of just be like, well, this is kind of like replacing my wine. Bad thought. Bad thoughts. Oh my God. No, Krista. Like, no, you can't have 4 pieces of cheesecake. Like, no. So anyway, so I'm reining it in. I feel really good, but I do feel I'm feeling like I feel hungry a lot. But that's just because I'm trying to figure out like what are the most high protein snacks that are like minimal points that I could eat. I'm still just new at this. I'm a beginner, so I'm just figuring it out. Today I just took egg bites for lunch, but also took like fruit salad, and then I had cottage cheese as well. But I should have taken my beef potato carrot soup, because that's way more filling. And I'm feeling very hungry right now.
Okay, well.
But that's okay. I got it in the fridge. I'll eat it after. Tell us about your peaks, pits, and plants, Sissy.
Well, another week, no pits. So it was a great week, and that's awesome. For peaks, so many actually. I got in yoga at the yoga studio, which I love, love, love. We went on a really great walk, Sean and I, in Kootenai National Park. We went from Marble Canyon to a place that's called Paint Pots, and then we did a little loop off of there and then back to Marble Canyon. And it turned out to be about 9 kilometers, and it's very flat. Like, there's no elevation. So it's a walk for me, but I wore my weighted vest. So it was a good workout for sure. By about 7 kilometers, I was like, I'm done with my weighted vest. But it was really good.
Good for you, sis.
Yeah. And then did another good long walk with a friend on Monday, like another 8K. So yeah, it was really good. What else did we get up to? Oh, we tried a couple new restaurants in town. That was fun. Yeah, we've had a few new food options open up in town here for the summertime. And we checked out a new pizza joint and checked out the new barbecue joint downtown. And it was all good. I'm very happy with everybody's new offerings. It's great. As for plans, we got a big weekend ahead of us. Brother Neil, or not brother, is coming back out this weekend. So he was here 2 weekends ago, went home, is coming back this weekend, only for a night though. And then him and I are going to hit the road really early on Saturday morning and drive to Kelowna. And we have friends there, and I'm so excited to be laying at their pool for 2 days straight at their house. Be awesome. Sean is going to drive out after work on Saturday night. And yeah, we'll have a couple days in Kelowna this weekend. Hopefully we find a cherry orchard to go harvest cherries this weekend.
Oh, that would be delightful.
Yeah, but that's low pressure on that. The whole point is for him to go mountain biking with his Regina mountain bike crew. And for me to lay at our friend's pool for 2 days. So that's the whole point. So yeah, anyhow, that's what's going on in our world. So I think that concludes our show today, our episode. Sis, why don't you do the thank yous?
Yeah, sure. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast, for engaging with what we have going on, for asking questions. We're going to have an interesting podcast next week. Somebody wanted to know some personal stuff about me, and so I'm going to dish about that. But thank you for engaging and asking these questions. That's how we are going to build this community by having people ask questions and get to know us better, and we'll get to know you better and all that good stuff. So thank you so much, you guys, for being a part of this and for supporting us, because we are loving it. We're having a really great time. Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Sister Social Call on Instagram, and you can find Stacey on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can find myself, Krista, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. And yeah, thanks so much, you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Love you, sis.
Love you too, sis.